As the publisher of the Saturday Evening Post, I mean, the magazine has been in your family for almost now 45 years. Uh, what keeps you wanting to continue with such an American icon, and what are you doing to keep it in everybody's mind?
Well, personally, why I feel like it's important is I just when I go into the archives and I read all the stories in the history that the Saturday Evening Post covered for 200 years, it tells America's story. It's a chronicle of how our nation, how our people came together. They were regional, and then they became more of a nation during the turn of the uh, 19, 1800, 1900. So to me, it's just fascinating. And when I show it to other people, they're fascinated too about the history. So I think it's important to carry on that legacy of chronicling America's story.
So, what are you doing to make sure that that legacy continues and everybody hears about it?
Well, we continue to tell America's story, but what I think our niche is putting it in perspective of what what that means to our country, to our readers, to our families, to tell the story in terms of let's take an example of civil rights. We were there before slavery was abolished. We were there afterwards and during the transition. It's an important story just to know how much we've evolved and what it took and the sacrifices, but really the people's attitudes during those times. They're not what they are today. There was a lot of pain and suffering, whether you were Italian, if you were Germans during World War I and World War II, or Japanese, Irish. So there's a lot of stories to be told of how we've evolved and come together as a nation. So I think that's interesting to a lot of readers. It wasn't always politically correct. We've we've struggled to become the nation that we are, and we're unique for that reason. So I like to look for stories to continue to tell or to reflect back on. The magazine also was something that was just entertaining. So you learn something you didn't know, or it's humorous. So we continue with our tradition of fiction for people that like to sit down and read the magazine and enjoy an hour. We've got something for everybody, and that's what this magazine represented through the last 200 years, and hopefully people will still find a need and an interest to sit down and relax and enjoy a period of time, learning things they didn't know or expanding their knowledge.
What has been the major stumbling block in your efforts of reviving and keeping the Saturday Evening Post alive?
I think we have an incredibly iconic brand, the Saturday Evening Post, and that's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because it's past its prime, and it's no longer the leading magazine that it was during the time of Cyrus Curtis and George Harris Lorimer, the famous editor that created this very successful magazine that was able to get the attention of millions of Americans. But so it's that history haunts us in the same way that it helps us identify what a significant magazine this is and why that is important to keep that legacy alive. So it's sort of a struggle.
And what's the most pleasant surprise?
People really like it. Our readers that get it enjoy it. They're very involved in writing us letters of what they like, and so the people that are getting it, that have maintained their subscriptions over the years, or that are just now beginning to subscribe, are pleasantly surprised at how much they enjoy it and what they learn. So it's a great publication.
And my typical final question to all those who interview: what keeps John up at night?
I think trying to understand the paradigm shift that we're going through in terms of paper, print, and digital, knowing what to do and doing it at the right time. We we know that the digital world is here, and we accept that, but it hasn't really arrived for us. We're still a print magazine that will continue to be that. But we want to make sure that we understand where we're going in the future and we position ourselves in time. So that's hard. This is kind of an exciting time to be in the publishing business and finding a way to survive and find people with like interests that will become subscribers.
Thank you.